Hi, I'm Cadet Bennett.
And I'm Cadet Miller.
And we're going to be telling you about how to wear the Service Blues Coat. So the first thing to note on the Service Blues Coat is your ranks. You want to make sure that the actual rank with the silver part is all the way to the edge of the shoulder and that it is flush with the seam. Also, you have your buttons up here. You want to make sure that they're right side up. If they're tilted or anything, it looks really off. Next we have the U.S. insignias. There is the period on the outside of the S, and that's going to be in line with the seam for this side, and then opposite on this side, the U will be flush with that seam. Next we'll look at the ribbons. They are on top of the pocket, flush with the pocket, and centered. Next we'll look at the silver name tape, and that is going to be in line with the ribbons. Next we'll see his Arnold Air Society pin. That is half an inch over the silver name tag. And then we also see the same buttons as we saw up here. You'll want to make sure that those are also facing upright and not topsy-turvy.
Now moving on to the short sleeve open collar uniform, starting with the ranks. As you can see here, Cadet Bennett does not have any ranks on right now, but if she did, they would be the same as they would be on the service dress uniform, with the bottoms of the ranks grounded with the seam of the shirt. Moving on to her name tag, it needs to be 1.5 inches above or below, or it can be lined up with the first button on her short sleeve open collar uniform. Moving on to the gig line of her uniform, you can see that the line of her shirt, moving down through her belt, along the zipper are all lined up.
For the women's pants, we can look at the gig line up close. If you see here, there's a little bit of a dent on the belt buckle, and that is supposed to be in line with the outer seam of the zipper. We can also look here and see that there's no blue exposed, and also that the silver part of the buckle is not underneath the main part of the buckle. This is the same thing for the men's pants, just flipped.
Now looking at the men's short sleeve open collar, we'll see that the ranks are the same as they have been with all the other service uniforms, where it's flush with the seam. We also want to take note that the flap of this needs to be underneath the collar. Next we'll look at the name tape. It needs to just sit flush on top of the pocket on the right side. Now we'll look at the men's gig line. It's just like female gig line, where everything is in line with itself, but you'll notice that the belt is going the opposite direction as it was with the women's.
Also moving on to some general tips and tricks for uniform wear. When you're wearing a short sleeve open collar, you can put things such as cardboard, maybe from a paper towel roll or a toilet paper roll underneath your ranks. So whenever you do this, your rank doesn't fold up in half. Also, shirt stays are a very good thing to have by keeping your shirt tucked in and not all puffed out and looking kind of bad. Also, the usage of a military tuck by pulling the front towards the back and creating this little flap here on the edge also helps keep the uniform nice and neat.